What we want to look at here is that once we create a basic shape in Illustrator, we want to, of course, manipulate it and probably change it in many different ways. So what we have to do is look at some other tools, and we want to focus on the two selection or arrow tools as we have them. And notice that they are different, that the first one is the black arrow and that the second one is the white arrow. Think of the black arrow as being filled in and complete, and the white arrow as being hollow or empty and not as complete. I say that because I think it's a way of helping. It helped me to get a handle on what the difference is in terms of what the tools do. And so that was one way that I learned. Once we create a shape, we tend to want to start manipulating the individual anchor points or parts of it so that we can change and modify the shape. And so with these two arrows, we do that. And first, the black arrow, the complete tool. It does essentially three things. One is if I put it or click it in the middle of a shape, it will move that shape around the page. If I bring this tool to the edge of the graphic, you can see it turns into a double-headed arrow, and I can use that to enlarge or reduce the graphic. Also, if I move it a little bit different place here, you see it turns into a double-headed arrow with a curve. Well, this is the rotation tool. Okay. So this tool's basic functions generally are to move the entire shape around the page, to change its size, or to rotate the object. And that's what we can do very easily with the black arrow. The white arrow, on the other hand, is used to manipulate the individual anchor points. Also, before I go any further, we typically need to activate part or all of an object to do something, and then we will often want to deactivate or deselect the image. And so if I click anywhere around an object with either of the arrows, it's going to deselect it. And we can see that. We see the little blue line in the corner dots. Click off of the object, those go away. Click on the object, and we see them again. So with the white arrow, we can do as we did with the black arrow, put it right in the middle and move the object around. That is the same. But beyond that, what is different is we use this tool to activate individual anchor points or parts of an object so that we can move it and customize it or modify it. Now, notice this little action with the arrow, the white arrow. When I click and drag, I have this little dotted line that you see popping up. And so generally what we want to do is we want to drag this around, almost like lassoing a portion of the object. And notice I'm specifically just grabbing or lassoing the corner. And what that's going to do is it is going to activate this anchor point. Notice this anchor point is solid blue. It's completely activated. And if I move down to one of the others, notice it's still hollow. It's only partially activated, the little white dots. Okay? And so the areas that we activate fully, like this corner, we can then click and drag, and notice that's the only part of the shape that is moving or is changing. The rest of the shape has stayed right where it was. And I can actually activate several anchor points. For instance, I'll do both of these. Look, again, click and drag, sort of like lassoing it. I grab that end and I can simply pull, and notice that both corners are moving, but these other two corners have stayed exactly in the same place. So that's the difference between having part of it completely activated and part of the shape not activated. Okay? So that's pretty much how we do that. I think we mentioned before about how with the tools we have in the corner here, the little black triangle, which is our indicator that there are other similar tools hidden behind this tool, and they might be similar in function. And if in fact we want this little tab with these other tools to sit out on our desktop, we can do that by simply dragging our cursor out to the very tip. See that how it turned gray? And it's called a tear off, and when I let go, it will cause it to stay on the screen. Or I can come back and I can close it and collapse it. So there you have it. Another thing that I want to show you is how we can make fairly complex shapes fairly easily and quickly once you get a handle on this idea of working with the different tools. And I'm going to show you the heart, and this is one of the things I like to show. It quickly will let you see what is possible. And I'm going to draw a rectangle here. Not a rectangle, I'm sorry, an oval. And we're going to, let's say, let's give that thing, make it look like a heart. Okay. And we'll make the stroke black. There we are. And I'm going to use a new tool that's hidden behind this pen tool here, and it's called the Convert Direction tool. Convert Direction tool. And it does two things. It turns angles into curves and curves into angles, and it makes the handlebars on the curves independent. So this is one of the things that we'll be learning how to do. Let me show you very quickly. I'm going to make my point right here. I'm going to make my handlebars independent. Go back to my white arrow. Is my humps. I will rotate this around. And there you see. And of course we can modify this and tune it up and make it look even better, but I think you get the point that we can very quickly with a couple of these tools start to create fairly complex shapes. Another thing that you have to get used to is, for instance, when we let's say use the oval tool, we will make a shape, and then in our mind we will want to manipulate it. And so it takes a little bit of getting used to the fact that you have to switch over to the arrow tools to do any of those kinds of manipulations. There's a tendency to create a shape, let's say, with this or with one of the other tools, and then we tend to want to use the same tool again to manipulate the shape, and of course that doesn't work. In this case it creates another shape. So you have to get used to, once we create a shape, we manipulate our shapes primarily by sticking with the arrow tools. Okay.